At 7:03 a.m., dispatch called me. "Officer Rivera, why is your patrol unit showing as stolen?" I thought it was a glitch. It was. I walked to my front window. My driveway was empty. My marked police cruiser, fully equipped, department-issued GPS tracked, had vanished overnight. And I already knew who did it. Because 6 weeks earlier, I arrested the HOA President's son for DUI. And she never forgave me. What she didn't understand was that she hadn't just towed a car. She had just declared war on a police department. My name is Austin Rivera. I'm 29 years old, patrol officer with the Plano Police Department in Texas. Swing shift. I get home when most people are asleep. For 2 years, my marked unit sat in my driveway without a single complaint. Neighbors liked it. Crime dipped. Kids waved when I pulled in. Then Corinne Peterson became HOA President. Power suit, permanent smile, control issues. 3 weeks into her presidency, I arrested her son Tyler. Third DUI, .14 BAC, nearly twice the legal limit. By the book, body cam on, clean stop, clean arrest. But to Corinne, it was humiliation. The violation letters started days later. Commercial vehicle. Visual disturbance. Police presence causing discomfort. I showed her the Texas statute exempting take-home police vehicles from HOA restrictions. She didn't care. And at 2:15 a.m., while I slept between shifts, she made a decision that would destroy 5 lives. She had my marked patrol car towed from my own driveway. What happened next didn't just end her presidency. It ended her freedom. The knock on my door came 12 minutes after I called my captain. 6 patrol units rolled into Willow Creek Estates like a tactical response. Not lights and sirens, but deliberate, controlled. Because stealing a police vehicle isn't a neighborhood dispute. It's a felony. Captain Mark Stevens stepped out of his unmarked unit, already furious. "Rivera, walk me through it." I explained, parked at 12:30 a.m. locked, keys inside, no damage, no broken glass. "This wasn't theft by opportunity," he muttered. "This was coordinated." That word hung in the air. Coordinated. We called every major tow company in Plano. The third one answered. Metro Towing. Yeah, we picked up a marked unit from Birch Street around 2:15 a.m. HOA request. My captain took the phone. "This is Captain Stevens, who authorized you to tow government property." Pause. The HOA president said it violated community bylaws. Captain Stevens' expression hardened. "That vehicle is city-owned law enforcement equipment. You are in possession of stolen government property." Silence. "Where is it?" "Impound lot on Jupiter Road." "Do not touch it, we're on our way." He hung up. Then he looked at me. "Rivera, this about the DUI." I nodded. Tyler Peterson, third offense, nearly hit a family at an intersection. I'd arrested him clean. Corinne had shown up at the jail demanding professional courtesy. There wasn't any to give. Now this. Neighbors started gathering. Mrs. Patterson approached quietly. "I thought it looked suspicious," she said, "so I recorded." Her phone showed everything. Corinne in my driveway. At 2 a.m. In heels. Pointing at my cruiser while the tow truck operator hooked chains to it. Not confused. Not misinformed. In control. Directing it. Captain Stevens watched the entire clip without blinking. "This isn't misunderstanding," he said. "This is retaliation. And retaliation against a police officer for performing lawful duty." That's obstruction. Within the hour, detectives were interviewing HOA board members. 5 of them. Emergency meeting the night before. Vote taken. Unanimous decision to remove unauthorized vehicle. They had meeting minutes. They had text messages. They had motive. What they didn't have was authority. I had emailed them the statute weeks earlier. Texas law explicitly exempts take-home emergency vehicles from HOA regulation. They knew. They did it anyway. Detective Sarah Martinez put it bluntly during questioning. You voted to seize city property because you were angry about a DUI arrest. One board member tried to shift blame. We thought she checked legality. Karen folded her arms. He abuses his badge. He harasses residents. Captain Stevens stepped in. You mean he arrested your son for drunk driving? Silence. And that silence said everything. By noon, warrants were signed. Not citations. Not warnings. Felony warrants. The moment cuffs went on Karen Peterson in front of her own house, the power dynamic flipped. You can't do this, she snapped. I'm HOA President. You were, Detective Martinez corrected. Charges. Theft of government property over $10,000. Obstruction of justice. Criminal conspiracy. And when they realized prison was possible, that's when panic set in. But it was too late. Because this wasn't about parking anymore. This was about 5 adults conspiring to punish a police officer. And the department doesn't take that lightly. But here's the part people don't see. Before the arrests, before the warrants, there was a moment where I genuinely thought this could destroy me. Internal Affairs opened a parallel review. Standard procedure whenever controversy touches an officer. Suddenly, I wasn't just a victim. I was under scrutiny. Karen filed a formal complaint claiming harassment, intimidation, abuse of authority. She said I targeted her son because of personal bias, even though body cam footage proved otherwise. Still, investigations create doubt. Rumors spread fast in HOA communities. Whispers started. Maybe he provoked this. Maybe there's more to it. I'd worked hard for my reputation. Now it felt fragile. My captain reassured me. Procedure only, stay patient. But patience is hard when your name is circulating in complaint files. And then the civil attorney letters arrived. Karen hired counsel. Threatened a lawsuit for wrongful arrest of her son. Claimed emotional damages. Selective enforcement. Retaliation. It was absurd. But lawsuits cost money. Time. Energy. And stress bleeds into everything. I stopped sleeping well. Double-checked every report. Second-guessed routine decisions. That's what retaliation does. It doesn't just attack your job. It attacks your confidence. Meanwhile, Karen played victim publicly. She sent neighborhood emails claiming the police were bullying community leadership. She framed herself as defending HOA rights. Some residents believed her. I could feel it when I drove through the entrance gates. Less waving, more staring. And then came the worst moment. The district attorney's office delayed filing final charges pending further review. Technically routine. Emotionally brutal. For 3 days, it felt like the board might walk. If charges didn't stick, they'd claim vindication. They'd sue. They'd double down. And I'd be the officer who lost. That thought gnawed at me. Because if they escaped consequences, every future HOA tyrant would feel empowered. The department stood firm publicly, but privately, I saw concern in my captain's eyes. Political pressure is real. HOAs have influence. Property owners complain loudly. What if this became messy? What if the city preferred quiet resolution? What if I became the liability? For the first time in my career, I wondered if doing the right thing had just made my life harder than it was worth. Karen was free on bond, walking the neighborhood, smiling, acting untouched. And for a brief moment, it looked like she might actually win. The turning point came from arrogance. Karen couldn't stop talking. Detectives obtained additional phone data through warrant. Group texts between board members. One message from Karen stood out. Let's see how confident he feels without his little toy. Another. We'll show him who runs this neighborhood. That wasn't HOA enforcement. That was revenge. The district attorney reviewed the full file. Video evidence. Statute exemption. Meeting minutes. Text. Motive tied directly to DUI arrest. Charges were formally filed. No delays. No plea deals offered initially. Then something unexpected happened. Metro Towing's insurance company conducted its own review. They realized their driver failed to verify municipal authority before towing marked government property. They cooperated fully, provided call logs, audio recordings. In one call, Karen explicitly states, "He thinks he's untouchable because he's a cop, tow it." That audio sealed it. At preliminary hearing, defense attempted the confused volunteer board argument. The prosecutor dismantled it calmly. You were informed in writing police vehicles are exempt. Yes. You voted anyway. Yes. You did so after the arrest of your son. Silence. The judge bound all charges over for trial. Internal Affairs closed their review. Findings: Officer Rivera acted lawfully and professionally at all times. Complaint unfounded. That memo meant more to me than I expected, because my integrity was intact. At trial, the prosecution built the narrative carefully. Not emotional. Precise. This wasn't anti-HOA. This wasn't anti-civilian. It was anti-retaliation. Jurors saw the driveway video, heard the audio, read the statute, read the texts. And when Karen testified, she tried to frame it as community protection. The prosecutor asked one final question. If this vehicle belonged to a firefighter responding to emergencies, would you have towed it? She hesitated. Yes. The courtroom shifted. That answer erased sympathy. Deliberation took less than 4 hours. Guilty on all major counts. The sentencing phase hit harder. The judge didn't shout, didn't grandstand. He spoke quietly. You weaponized authority you did not have. You targeted a public servant for performing lawful duty. That is not governance, that is abuse. Karen received 5 years in state prison. The other board members received lesser, but still serious sentences. Probation wasn't granted, because conspiracy makes individual guilt shared. Metro Towing lost its city contract. The HOA board was dissolved by residents. New leadership implemented strict transparency rules. And slowly, the neighborhood shifted back, but this time with a lesson embedded in it. Authority without law is just ego, and ego collapses under evidence. 6 months later, I parked my patrol unit in my driveway again. Same spot, same house, different atmosphere. The new HOA board delivered a formal letter welcoming visible police presence. Neighbors waved again. Mrs. Patterson still records everything, just in case. Tyler served his sentence quietly. No more late-night speeding. No more arrogance. As for Karen, 5 years is a long time to think about a 2 a.m. decision. One vote, one tow truck, one act of revenge. She believed HOA authority outranked state law. She believed embarrassment justified retaliation. She believed a title protected her. It didn't. And here's the part that matters most. This wasn't about punishing criticism of police. It wasn't about silencing complaints. It was about protecting due process. If a civilian can weaponize neighborhood bureaucracy to retaliate against lawful arrests, the system erodes. But this time it held. My captain still tells the story to new recruits, not as a warning to civilians, but as a reminder to officers. Document everything. Follow policy. Stay professional. Because when retaliation comes, evidence wins. I still work patrol in Plano. Still swing shift. Still wave at kids riding bikes when I pull in at 2 a.m. And every time I park that cruiser in my driveway, I remember how close petty power came to escalating into something far worse. So let me ask you, if someone abused a small position of authority to retaliate against you, would you back down to keep peace? Or would you let the system run its course? Because sometimes the most catastrophic decisions aren't made by criminals in dark alleys. They're made in well-lit living rooms, during HOA meetings, and they cost far more than anyone expects.